ghetto things with around here. You know what I'm saying? Look like it's high tech, but that's probably a ghetto rigged phone that one of my nephews made.
Can you guys hear Snoop okay on the line?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, when was y'all gonna say something then? Y'all just sit on y'all just wanna hear my voice, so y'all just wanna hear Snoop Dogg, huh? But y'all taping me? What's going on?
Okay. So we can just start rolling into questions about the album.
What would be Granny's favorite track on the album?
What would be my grandmother's favorite song on the album? Probably the Patti LaBelle, Put on My Robe and Tell the Story. As soon as oh my God, how I made it over. As soon as I get home, my God. Lord have mercy. Did y'all hear Patti sing on that?
Yes.
Did she do it?
She did it. I knew it was Patty too. It was playing in the background.
Yes, you sure did. You sure did.
And she didn't like it at first.
Really?
She was like, I want to go do my parts of it. Sorry, Patty. No, you're not. We like them the way they are. You are special, and you no special than you are. You're special. You're special.
Mm-hmm. Was Patty surprised you wanted to do a project like this?
No, she know my mama. My mama's an evangelist, so she's like, I'm gonna get on the record because your mother been telling me, and I know it's in your heart. And like, you know, the older women, like they the elders, like they recognize when a youngster got it in him, and they compliment. They don't criticize. You get what I'm saying? She could have been mean and said, "Nah, but brother, I ain't getting down with you." She like, "No, I'm getting down with you because I see what you're doing, and I want to let people know that I'm standing firm with you."
That's what's up.
How emotional was it for your mother to see, you finally being able to do this record this way?
Well, Mama, the crazy part about Mama was she told me after she heard the record, because I played it for her in the studio with all of my homies, and everybody started clapping when it was over with. And she turned around and looked at me. She was like, "I'm not impressed. God told me you was gonna do this years ago." You know what I'm saying? So like she been waiting on this. You know what I'm saying? But in a cool way, she's very happy. But I understood what she said. She was like, you know what I'm saying? You've been doing your thing. Now you doing his thing. And I knew it was gonna happen, but you know, it had to be on his time. It can't be on your time.
So you've been doing all this work, Snoop Lion, the pilgrimage. You've been working with the boys with the football league. You got this, like, so how, what, like, where where's everything headed? This is awesome.
I don't know where it's headed. I really don't. I do me every day. I'm like a quarterback that audibles when I get to the line of scrimmage. So I call a play, but sometimes I may change it up right at the line of scrimmage. As long as we end up in the end zone, that's all that matters. And I feel like the plays that I've been making lately, we've been getting into the end zone, whether it's community work with the kids, with the football, me being a peacemaker and trying to end all of this negative violence in the hip-hop industry, in the streets, police, no communication with the community, trying to get some sort of structure with that going on, being at the forefront of the gang, affiliation that I have, being one that corrects them and shows them how to do the right thing by installing ex-gang members into the football program and helping them become mentors and coaches and keep the kids on the right path by showing them their examples and just all of the great works in general that go along with what we do. But we don't put cameras on the community work that we do because we don't do it for credit. We do it because we love doing it.
Would you say this album is a testimony?
I think this album is like a testimony, but it's not a complete testimony because I'm constantly tested. So it's just a testimony that you're getting from this portion of my career that I'm at right now, and I'm able to be the driver, and no label told me to do this. I did this record on my own, and then I presented it to a label because I didn't want no label to be watering it down, to be trying to tell me what to say, who to get on the records, how I should do it. I wanted to present it in its full form with the love and the artists and the spirit that we put into it. There's a lot of artists on this record that have been, blackballed or bashed or whatever you want to call it, just like me. So this is the greatest project that we could do because it's a bunch of lost souls trying to find our way back home. And the church is supposed to be the most welcoming place in the world. So I'm anxious to see how welcoming they gonna be.
Now, what you? It's funny you say that because like you got.
That was my
Okay,
that was
go
my
ahead, yeah.
question. Like, were you prepared? Were you prepared for the backlash that you were going to receive because of your reputation in hip hop, known as a rap icon, but more of a gangster rapper that's trying to put out a gospel album? Were you prepared for the criticism that was going to come along with this album?
I really didn't care about no criticism because I'm doing this for spiritual reasons. It's not a money making project. This is a spirit driven project. So my spirit is in the right place. So for those who have backlash or something to say, they spirit ain't right. Because if your spirit is right, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna welcome somebody like me who came from where I'm coming from and do what I've done. You're gonna say, you know what, maybe he can reach people that we can't reach. Maybe he's doing what God's work is really supposed to be done. When I think back to the Bible, I thought the Bible said that Jesus was in the streets, mixing it up with the real, bringing the real back to the force. You understand me? Not, you understand me? Everybody in church perfect and perfection and no flaws and no none of this. Knock it off, man. But like I say, I'm prepared because I come from the hood and I come from church, so they can't outdo me. And this project is ordained by my grandmother. So I got the spirit of the elders. So when I speak with the elders, I know how to speak to them. I know how to communicate to them the way they understand where I'm coming from. And it's not a disrespect thing. It's all due respect with no disrespect.
Do you feel a sense of responsibility being now that you're using your platform, your light and darkness, to maintain, that message that people are going to be able to follow? Or do you feel like you can still be able to, do secular music and non-secular music without, compromising?
I just dropped the EP 220. Gangsters and Motherfuckers called 220. Hood Day for my neighborhood. So it don't stop me from doing what I'm doing. Like, the person is what matters, not the creativity. I just was talking to somebody in the other room. I say, well, let me give you an analogy that you may be able to understand. Put Snoop Dogg's life on a record. Say my life was a record, right? If my life was a record, my life would be more in the gospel side as far as the work that I've done in my life. My life is not based off of me being a gangbanger or a drug dealer. It's based off of me making it, becoming successful, given opportunity, going back, being positive, finding ways to help others, to better myself, to be a better father, to be a better person, and to enlighten people along the way, taking them on my journey, whether it's going to Jamaica and finding Rastafari or coming back home to a gospel record. It's a journey that I'm taking people on, and I'm enabling people to find themselves because I'm an inspiration. And this is why I continue to do what I do. I've been told this, I've been given this gift, so this is the gift that keeps on giving. What kind of gift would I be if I just was selfish? I got to continue to keep giving, and this is the only way I know is to put things out there that make you think, to make you look at yourself and say, well, while we throwing rocks at a glass house, while we talking about Snoop Dogg, what have we done? Have we been doing what we're supposed to be doing while we sitting up here trying to cast judgment on him? He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. And that's all that matters. Do your job. Don't try to do my job. Do your job.
There's an interlude, there's this quote, and you start talking, you say, sometimes you perform for millions of people and, you're going through so much pain. And I love the way how that just fell into the play of the record. Like what kind of things were you, referring to?
I cried. I'm sad a lot. I have problems, issues. I'm human. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like everybody here. But Snoop Dogg is like a superhero to everybody. Like, he don't have no problems. He always happy, he this, he that. But I had to express that I'm natural just like you. And I do sometimes be on stage and I get some bad news. Hey man, somebody in the family died or this happened. And I gotta get on stage and perform. And while I'm performing for you, I really wanna cry. But I can't because I gotta stay focused. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I just wanted to express that like sometimes when you go to work, you have bad news on your heart, and you got to continue to do your job until you get your break, and then you sit in your car and you may cry, and you go back to work, and everybody like, what's wrong? Oh, ain't nothing wrong. I just got something in my eye, but I'm going back to work. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm perceived as. So that's why I want to let people know that I do have moments where I shed a tear and I get emotional. I ain't some tough guy that just tough all day. I like to cry. I like to be emotional. I like to tap into that side. I explain that to some of the kids on my football team because they try to be so tough and don't understand that a real man has to cry. You're not tough because you don't cry. You tough when you do cry and you understand that you can get that side out and then become a better person.
You talked about timing earlier.
What was your family reaction when they heard the album?
Well, my family be tripping when it come to my music. Like, you know what I'm saying? On some real talk, like, they like be behind it. They behind me, but at the same time, they don't understand me. Like, cause like I told you, I drop a gangster record and then I do a gospel record 3 weeks later. Like, it's hard to understand me. So they just ride with the flow. You understand what I'm saying? Like, whatever I do, they support me, and I need that more than anything. I don't need no extracurricular. I need support, whether I'm doing this or doing that. And when you a creative artist, that's what throws us off a lot of times, is when you got to come home to a disgruntled wife or, you know, a bad vibe at the house that makes the records not right. If your spirit not right, your music not gonna be right. So this was a spirit-driven record, so I had to make sure that my spirit was right. So my family usually get out the way when I'm making my project, so that way we don't have no spirit conflicts.
Why is this album 32 tracks? Did you have a harder time editing things down because each selection was motivated so spiritually?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
I didn't even know how many songs I was gonna make in the beginning. It was just we was just making songs, and then by the time we got to song like 15 or 16, it kept getting good. They was like, well, Fred Hampton on the phone, John P. Key on the phone, whoop 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 on the phone. I'm like, well, how am I gonna say no to this? Like, come on, man, like, man, please. Like, I'm a rapper. To have the kings and queens of gospel saying they want to get down, what's happening, we waiting on you. I had to fulfill the prophecy. And when we got to the end, it was 31 songs. And then the song with me and B. Slade, we had already had that song, When My Words Are Few. And we was like, we should just put that on there too, just because it says so much about the project and who I am and where I'm. It's like one foot in, it's like I'm double dutching. On that song, you could just see me double dutching. Like, is he gonna go to church? Is he gonna stay in the streets? By the time we get to the end, when B. Slade come in singing, it's like, oh, they not playing. They not playing. So that's a analogy of what I'm trying to do, what I am doing, and how I'm doing it. But it's so hard to do when you got skepticism, negativity, but you're trying to do a positive project. I'm trying to do something positive. Yep. Now, when I make gangster music, I don't hear none of this. The church ain't got nothing to say. I killed 40 niggas in my songs. The church ain't said nothing. But here I am making a gospel record, and the church got something to say. Come on, church.
Was there any, you're working with Lonnie Burrell and a lot of, talented artists. Was there ever any supernatural moments that you could share that may have happened where you guys knew you were on the right track, or where you heard maybe something within yourself that was...
Man, when Kim Burrell was in there, man, she hit a note. Oh, my God. She hit a note. I ain't never heard a note like she hit this note. She hit the note, and we all just looked at her. She was in the booth. She said, play the music. We was just looking at her like, Play that note again. She did that. Kim Burrell is fantastic, man. Like, I couldn't believe she was in here.
Yes.
I couldn't believe that she was in my studio, in my microphone. I think I took the mic and framed it.
That's my favorite song, Sunshine. Yeah.
Ain't that a cold record?
Yeah.
That's a cold record.
Hey, Snoop.
That's what my question, like, how did you select these artists for your album?
Well, I can't take credit for all of this. Lonnie Burrell is like the Batman to my Robin. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the suggestions and a lot of the creativity was his direction, because he knows this world better than me. So I trusted him to say that I'm gonna allow you to drive. I'm gonna take my hands off the steering wheel and let you drive us to a place to where I feel like, okay, now I got it. I can take it from here. Because I didn't want it to be a gospel project that didn't feel right. And I know he comes from that world, so he was gonna make sure it had all the feeling and all of the right artists and the right people to be on the project. And him reaching out and me being who I am and the spirit of God being on the project, it was kind of hard to say no.
Did you?
Tell me about the Stellar Awards. You got big awards coming up, or is it any different preparing for an award like that where people are going to be looking for you to say the wrong thing, or
I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna do the wrong thing and say the wrong thing. I'm gonna just act a fool in there. Nah. I know how to act. I went to the BET Super Bowl of Gospel. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about
Yes,
it.
I did.
Did you hear
My
about it?
third.
Did you hear anything extracurricular that I did? Did I go to jail? Did I hit somebody? Did I shoot somebody? Did somebody get shot? Did one of the deacons get robbed? Did one of the sisters lose their purse? Did her wig come up missing? I mean, did any of that happen?
No.
Not at all.
Okay, it was 4 great performances that I heard. And by the way, Mr. Donnie McClurkin grabbed me by my shoulders and whispered something special in my ear and hugged me and said a prayer with me that was so special. My grandmother was smiling in heaven. So that's what I got out of that Super Bowl of Gospel presentation, and that was the first time that they seen Snoop Dogg in that world. You get what I'm saying? So imagine the Stellar Awards is the biggest one. So, me and Kirk Franklin had a conversation the other night, by the way, on etiquette. And you understand me, and demeanor. And I was telling Kirk,
He's real.
and I was telling Kirk, I don't follow etiquette and demeanor. What do you mean? So we had a nice conversation to get some understanding, and I believe we have some understanding. So at the Stellar Awards, I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna do what I do. Like, I'm not gonna try to be Reverend somebody. I'm gonna be Snoop Dogg, and I'm bringing the word.
It's special for you to be able to deliver this album right now at this time, when the country is, divided in ways that it is. But being an artist, artists always want to reflect the time. So how much of a responsibility do you feel like to do that in a time right now when the country's in turmoil?
Well, in the music industry, they call me Uncle Snoop. So I feel like it's my job as everybody's uncle to give them something. If I looked at my uncle as a youngster, he was always a wise man. He would lead me right. He would give me instructions, information. He would say all of the right things. He would never say, go rob that and go steal, go do that. Get in that house, you better not. But I'm not that type of uncle. I'm the type of uncle that sit down on the porch with you, chop it up with you. Talk to me, Junior. Man, let me tell you, man, look. All right, thanks, Unc. I love you, man. I appreciate you for talking to me. Man, anytime, man, I got your back. Like that. I've grown into that, so I understand my role. And you have to understand your role and take it on and become who you are. I'm not that young MC no more. I'm Uncle Snoop, so I deliver my messages with understanding, and I try to speak their language. And if I don't speak their language, I listen. You can learn a lot if you listen.
Was there a record on the album that